Mario Kart World should remove the cow ring from Mario's 40th anniversary. I'm not going to make it out to be this horrible thing that Nintendo is awful for doing what they did, but I'm going to offer my perspective on my recommendation, compassionately, which is to remove the cow nose ring from the game. The playable cows in Mario Kart World have a ring on their nose, and an objection was raised by the organization called People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA. So in the first part of this video, we're going to look at a lot of the most common defenses of the Mario Kart cow ring. After that, we will look at the karma-based implications of defending the cow ring, with an angle of be careful what you wish for. And finally, I will explain why PETA's methods are counterproductive and actually sometimes damage the cause, so that when they do have a good point to make, like with this cow ring situation, they kind of lack the public credibility for people to take it seriously. So it makes it easier for people to shrug it off dismissively. Mario Kart should remove the cow ring from Mario's 40th, not because they faced peer pressure, but it should be because they genuinely buy into the idea that the game is better off without the nose ring. So what PETA had to say about this ring is notable not only because it contains a Sonic joke. You ready? So the thing is, in real life, the brass rings on a cow's nose are stabbed through the septum, which is an extra sensitive body part for cows in particular. So that when you pull on the rope, they're gonna come over right quick. It's undignified. And they put a spiked ring on babies so that when they try to nurse from their mom, it hurts the mom. So the mom shoos the baby away. Tragedy much? It's like their whole bodies and instincts are designed to do nursing. It's like one of the most intimate natural things. That's what the milk is for. So when they try to do it, they get pain and disappointment, deprived of their true nature. PETA's ultimate tagline on this is, every animal is someone. So leave the rings to Sonic and let the cow breathe free. Now, that Sonic joke is real, people. Leave the rings to Sonic. The implication of this Sonic reference will come later, but for now, here's why I am on the same page as PETA, in this instance of the cow ring. So basically, the trade-off in play with these nose rings is that farmer convenience gets increased in exchange for a cow pain increase. It's a zero-sum transaction. The cow might not come when it's called, but you bet it's going to know how painful it is to have that ring in their septum be yanked, so as soon as they feel the pull, they are going to haul ass so as to minimize the pain. And every farmer uses the honor system to promise that they won't yank too hard. It's really demeaning that the cow now has to hustle and hustle just to minimize the existing pain of being dragged around by the nose in such a captive, undignified manner. So if you think about the in-game universe of the Mario Kart characters, if there was a cow that had enough intelligence and abstract thinking to be able to operate a motor vehicle at high speeds, like even 150 cc's, why would he show up to the racetrack and choose to wear that exact device that was directly designed to inflict pain when a cow is just trying to live naturally? You don't think it's weird or soul-crushing that in real life, kids are now just going to see that cow ring as happy and normal? The ring should be on the cows that are controlled by Bowser and Kamek, but not the good guys. That's sending a bad message. So for people to say that PETA should instead be focused on bigger issues, that they should stop fretting about a digital accessory, all right, so you're just going to use that classic president maneuver of, oh, we shouldn't be talking about this thing because there's so many other big things, that pivot. You ask the president about Epstein, and he says, no, we have bigger things to talk about, like the flooding in Texas. If the cow ring defenders want to be in good company with that president, do your thing, but people have noticed. PETA is specifically set up to speak about this specific type of topic. You're telling PETA to go talk about the floods in Texas instead? That's not their domain. You all didn't know about the real-life cow's pain until PETA brought it to your attention, with an attention-getting declaration. They succeeded on that, which justifies their statement in itself up front. Isn't them making a fuss about it just more promotion and brand awareness for Mario Kart World? Well, you cow ring supporters, brace yourselves because here we are. The karma pendulum is about to swing back at you full speed. Ready? All those people who belittled PETA and laughed at them, dismissed them, imagine if our planet was invaded, and from that point on, our whole Earth is occupied. The invading force has much better technology and intelligence, so they overwhelm us in war. They take over planet Earth in like 7 hours. Right? Humans surrender that quickly just as a practical move. They would just annihilate us otherwise. Once the new aliens set up shop, they run some experiments on human beings, and they observe that Earthlings have fairly low-order thinking and communication capacity. Humans are not all that advanced because they can't even look backwards or forwards in time. Humans are locked in a single moment, always. And humans can communicate with each other with language, yeah, sure, but not with telepathic thought sharing. The invaders say that verbal-only methods of communication are so inefficient, it's a joke, since people are constantly doing things wrong and going to war with each other. So the invaders want to minimize a lot of this unnecessary strife to make their new imperial reign go a lot more smoothly. So they go ahead and make things just easier for everyone by limiting what humans can do. Like, take this human right here, this pretty lady that you see on screen. The invaders do agree and think that she's cute and cuddly, and that's adorable and all, but she's constantly getting all these ideas and getting upset that the world doesn't work the way she wants. And she fights with her own friends on top of that. Like, the invaders do not indulge this kind of thing. So let's say they install a device that can very quickly solve a lot of these problems and make life a lot more convenient for the new regime. They relieve her of the paradox of choice, restrict her field of vision, and it's also blocking her ears under there, so she can't really hear much at all unless she plugs in the ministry-approved headphones. And, she really loves her boyfriend and everything, and the invaders will let her keep that Facebook status and all, but they don't want the women getting all romantic and possibly making a new baby. So the invaders do population management of Homo sapiens, kind of like how people on Earth manage the population of cats. So it's a mandatory install for this special security underwear, so that if her partner starts getting all romantic, it will cause the woman pain, so she has to shoo her man away, therefore denying them the main mechanics of what their body is set up to do. The intimate intended purpose of the biological blueprint is just blocked, just like the cow nursing roadblock. Now, if this is bad enough for the humans, now it turns out the invaders are just doing their thing, making new recreational video games. And so they get inspired by the human beings on Earth, so they include a character, complete with the headgear, guys, right? Art imitates life after all, so you might as well give her the headgear since that's a thing in real life, and, it kind of looks cool and fun to them. If you were a human, would this not be a super problem and just further insult to injury? Bad enough that you're imprisoned and have your liberty taken away, but now they're just making light of it as just a fun, casual accessory. In other words, that device you see on screen really has no tasteful place in lighthearted children's entertainment, if at all. You see how that's so belittling? Even if the humans never find out about this video game, because the invaders are stationed on Mars and they don't let humans go there. Are you going to say, well, the humans would never know about the video game, it's all digital, so what's the harm? Now, there are some advocates for humans in small numbers up on Mars. They fight for the rights of humans, but they are shunned and shamed by most of the community that just says, this is just a video game. There's more important things that we should be talking about. Humans can't even communicate telepathically. So the invaders say they might as well just keep farming them like the animals they are, harvesting them for milk or intellectual property, or taking their eggs for experimental research. Women have eggs. So there you have it. Now that you know the thought process on why I and PETA think removing the cow ring is a good idea, that's what I would gently recommend. Now we're going to talk about how PETA has been shooting themselves in the foot, okay? Even with a decent message, PETA's bad methods undercut their ability to be taken seriously. When they do have a good point, like they do in the case of Mario Kart World on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, if you go to the PETA website, you're going to find their clear-cut charter right at the top. And it says, animals are not ours to experiment on, eat, wear, use for entertainment, or abuse in any other way. So right off the bat, they don't want you even eating animals, even if they're tended with care and killed painlessly. Now, the reason why I don't automatically get behind the PETA charter is because, well, if there was no eating other animals, humans and other animals would not even have come into existence, because the carnivore diet is a major component of natural selection and biological evolution. I hate to say it, but nature itself fundamentally rejects PETA's mission statement. I mean, they've done studies about what's happening out there in nature in the different animal kingdoms, and it is not pretty. According to a University of California, San Diego study, sexism is rampant throughout the natural world, particularly among the highest classes of vertebrates. During the act of mating, the female moose is subject to excessive biting, nipping, and herding. The male has no qualms about using sheer brute force to overpower his sex partner. And the female, accustomed to this sort of rough treatment after millions of years of it, doesn't even realize there's something wrong. So you take even a quick look at natural nature to see what animals are up to, and you're going to see plenty of murder, theft, and involuntary pollination that is extremely commonplace and normalized. So, as humans, we Homo sapiens, we have our ability to communicate with language and reason abstractly above our most base impulses. It does put us in a place where it's like, okay, if we're going to continue eating animals for protein naturally, the least that we can do is make it painless for them. Give them the dignity they deserve whenever it's possible to do so. Make sure they're not particularly uncomfortable, and no additional unnecessary affronts on their dignity. So even though I disagree with PETA's general broad charter like that, I will at the very least always strongly defend their right to maintain that position and speak up on it as they see fit. Freedom of speech and diversity of beliefs is critically important, and it could be that PETA will be proven right in the end. Like, imagine if God swooped down from the sky to judge everyone finally, and he says, actually, only PETA got it right. The rest of you failed that basic morality premise. So the animal defenders at PETA will be rewarded with paradise and good quality of life. The people yanking cows around by the nose for convenience, those humans will face the atonement of karma. Similarly, for the folks that insisted on having the cow ring in Mario Kart World, they say, they're trying to cancel the cow. I said, no, they're trying to protect and preserve the cow. Sugar? Maybe these Mario Kart gamers will one day be kept in cages and yanked out of their cell to eat twice a day by the nose. And since it hurts so much to be yanked by the nose like that, the person is going to really hustle and hurry up to move quickly to minimize the pain, which will be very convenient for the new regime. Even if PETA's intentions are good, the way that they go about it is a little counterproductive. Like, they can get a little too dramatic. I wish they would approach it as a way of a compassionate suggestion rather than like a demand firmly right now. Like, they filed a big objection back in Animal Crossing because the Blathers Museum keeps animal species captive for study and recreation. Now, it's fine if PETA wants to object to that, but they take the additional step of doing a satire video where people storm the Blathers Museum with picket signs chanting, "Empty the tanks," to release all the animals from their imprisonment, okay? But this is, on the surface, not necessarily the most effective problem-solving method. If you want Blathers to release the insects and butterflies, you should get his buy-in. You shouldn't do anything by force, because Blathers and Tortimer, to their credit, are abiding by the terms of service in their hometown of Animal Crossing. Population growing. So PETA makes a satire video about rioting in the museum, and they just kind of come across at a first impression as this weird loose cannon. And it makes harder for me and others to make the case that the Mario Kart cow ring should indeed definitely be removed. The Animal Crossing satire video does seem unhinged at first, but I'm going to say that the more times I watch it, each time it ages a little better as direct satire, and it is just a parody video. It's not like PETA would do this in real life. You know, it's satire, like South Park. So in closing, the good news for PETA is that in fact they will definitely get the last laugh on Nintendo. Because Mario Kart World sucks, and everyone who paid the cost for it are chumps. Even they would admit it. Mario Kart World has a barren, paper-thin open world with baby-easy collectathon missions, and Nintendo is treating its customer consumers like cattle by forcing them to do the intermission tracks very frequently to a disproportionate extent. You have to do the straight line ahead intermission tracks a lot. Now, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds had initially at one point seemed like a disaster in the making, since it would get outshined by Mario Kart World, who wants to pay full price for yet another big racing game in the same year, kind of in the same way that Mario Wonder killed Sonic Superstars. However, with Mario Kart World's balloon deflating so rapidly the way it has, Sonic Cross Worlds is emerging as the savior antidote to pick people up when they're down about the underwhelming bust that came out on Switch 2. Sonic Cross Worlds has SpongeBob, and PETA told Nintendo, leave the rings to Sonic. So that implies PETA is cool with Sonic, and that should be no surprise. Sonic, after all, is an animal with freedom who fights for the safety of other animals, so Sega, good. Sell your Switch 2 and get Cross Worlds on a different machine. Now, I can poke fun at Nintendo, but in this video, you noticed I haven't told them that they're this awful, horrible, evil entity, and they should definitely remove the ring. It's my recommendation, is all. I would never cause mayhem IRL. Gotta use your words. Neither would PETA cause mayhem IRL. That Animal Crossing bit was digital satire. So when you think about where your head is at on the cow ring topic, just think of Peach. Don't know if she's going to be ready for that, or what her standard of trauma is, or if she's ever thought about what the standard of trauma is for real-life cows. But Peach can't see backward or forward in time, never mind alter time or travel through time. And on top of that, she has no telepathy then, right? In the scheme of things, she is what we call small peanuts in the view of the invaders, who have the guns. Wow, this human speaks language? You're going to tell us she has emotions too? Wow, how spectacular. Dude, emotions get in the way of stuff. They are not in themselves advanced evolution. Next, you'll be telling the invaders that these peach beasts have a soul. That last line there is a quote adapted from Planet of the Apes, where the apes are in charge over the humans. Those apes don't think that humans have a soul in that movie. And that quote was just relayed to you by me, Alex Yard, here at 91.6 WAYZ, the Alex Yard Zone, terrestrial internet radio. If you see us running, try to keep up.